before, and it's I hate to sound like, because I remember being a young dude in every band, but I hate now I'm sounding like the old grumpy old musician, because like I see all the time like these cats. Number one, they can't really play. Number two, like the aura of them is just like, wow, like we didn't have, like we were, you know what I'm saying, like
more
we
humble.
actually respect the older musicians. Now these cats come in with the shades and the fanny packs across the chest, and it's like, okay, like they come in like they just got off the plane from Switzerland.
Well,
like,
I mean, everybody's not like that. We're not saying every young musician is like that, but there are people out there like that, and it's a shame because I realize that people don't know how much they don't know. They don't realize it, and it's just like, wow, and I think if we would spend more time sharpening our gifts and what we have, and who we are, like I see a lot of drummers going to keyboard in Oregon, and I was watching a gentleman. We were at a concert or something, and there wasn't a musician, so I'm always like, okay, you need me, and I'm getting up. But then I saw him go up. I was like, okay, you got it. Then I'm like, wow, he's doing good. Like he's doing good to be for this to be his second instrument. He's kind of fooling his way, but then like he was missing that meat, like the meat of the chords and stuff. He was missing it. And I'm the type of person, I'm gonna say, man, you did a great job. But I'm gonna say, but you need to learn such. You need to do this, or whatever. And that's another thing. We have to make sure that, like the people in my generation, we have to make sure that, yes, we celebrate, we encourage, and we push. But we also, if we see something that needs enhancement or something that we can sharpen in them, it's not like us trying to be like in charge or whatever. But I learned a long time ago, if I don't say anything, this person may think he's good in this area. It just takes for me to say, all right, try this or do this, and that could
just to get the wheels turning.
Absolutely.
If everybody tells you you're great, like they don't want to see you grow. That's the quote I heard. It's like if everybody tells you you're great, then they either don't want to see you grow or they're not smart enough to to give you.
That's good
critique.
right there. If everybody tells you you're great, they don't want to see you grow. That's good.
Like even somebody like even if your child was LeBron James, it's like obviously you want to fill them up with positive energy, but you want to see them get better. Like you don't want to see them settle for where they're at, and it's definitely the same for musicians, especially if like, okay, clearly there's more to playing music than bumps, so you might want to develop learning songs. You know what I'm saying? Because like bumps is a great aspect of being a church musician.
Right.
I mean, it's essential depending on which church you at. But also learning songs and learning how to flow with preachers, different preachers. You know what I mean? Because everybody's flow isn't the same. You got to be in tune with the spirit. Like this is a spiritual move. It's a spiritual connection you're trying to have.
Absolutely.
It's so many aspects of playing church, and it's funny. It's sad that church musicians get looked down upon by other musicians, like they're at the lowest rung of the pool, whatever. When actually we're at the top, because it's like we're the ones. It's a spiritual experience. It's a spiritual journey that we have to be connected to, and I think people just miss out on that. Just think about all I call it clowning in church, like the whole bumps and all that.
Yeah, it's definitely a spiritual experience when you are connected in the spirit and you are being a minstrel and actually connected and flowing with the move of God in the house, and not just playing your runs or playing what the latest song is, or just it is actually it's empowering for us, just to be able to be used. And it does something for our spirit. It kind of just like motivates our spirit and give us like a spiritual shock or whatever you want to think. So yeah, and then you said something. I wanted to say something. Oh, okay. So I also think that sometimes we think in a box. Like just because you are a church musician, you can still expand your ear. You can still listen to other types of music, I believe, and you can still do other types of things musically.
Right.
Not just church. I think that the Bible talks about your gift will make room for you, and I believe that you should make the most of every gift that you have. You know what I'm saying? So,
and make the most of the rooms as well. People don't
make the most of what?
Of the rooms. The rooms that you're in.
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
The gift will make room. You gotta make use of them rooms too. You can't just
right.
like you said, stay in a box. I definitely think that's a big thing, and I always separate church musicians and gospel musicians. Like we play gospel music in church, but it's still a difference between a gospel musician and an actual church musician. You know what I mean? Like someone who's a church musician, like I'm talking about the good ones, like the ones that's for hire, the ones that's at the top of those cats. Like those are special cats. There's a reason why those cats command the type of money and respect they command. It's because they provide something, that's not common. You know what I mean? You can't just pull any old body out and expect to have this type of response, because that level of church musician actually matters in regards to a service. And I know it's always a debate like on Facebook in my group with like as far as like drummers versus organists, and drummers feeling like they should be respected more, they should be paid. It's few of them that feel like they should get paid what organists get paid, but for the most part, I think they just want to feel like, they're not just a dime a dozen. Even though it's easier to find a competent drummer than to get a competent organist. But I always look at the top. I always try to take it at the top of the totem pole, where the top gospel drummers make a lot of money, whereas the average church drummers, they kind of cap out. Versus the top church organists make a lot of money, more so than the gospel organists, because most of the time they're the same thing. But most of the time on records, they just want somebody to execute. You know what I mean? Especially on live recordings. They don't want to bring in somebody who's actually going to hold up the service.
Right.
Because it's like, yo, we on the time schedule. We hired this
Absolutely.
person. They're going to shut it down, and we're not going to get nothing else done. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a funny dynamic with that, with the whole money and musician church thing.
I kind of look at it this way, even though like it's not a justification of the pay. You can have a service with an organist.
Just the organist.
Just the organist. Can you have a service with a drummer? I mean, you can go in. You can go in some drums. Now you can. You really can. But I guess it could be that's possibly how they look at that. I don't even know where the pay scale started or where it came from or whatever, but
yeah, I think it's only in churches. I mean, in the secular realm, everybody's kind of equal.
Yeah, equal.
But the thing is, and this is what I always explain to people when they bring up, well, secular realm, we all get the same thing. I'm like, that's all fine and good, but the purpose of a secular experience and the purpose of a church experience are two different things. And a church experience, or organist, is kind of mandatory. You know what I mean?
Yes, the organist is working from the time of service start to the time of service end.
And they're playing, like you said, they're playing the whole time. And like I can put, like you could have somebody learning on the job as a drummer. Like everybody and their mama grew up in a church where the drummer probably learned on it. I mean, everybody learned on the job pretty much. But you're more likely to have a drummer learning on the job than an organist learning on the job in a higher pressure situation. It's kind of like the organist learning on the job can be a detriment to the service. Not even just a non-factor. An incompetent drummer can be a non-factor, but an incompetent organist can actually be a detriment.
And break your service.
Break your service. Depending on who's preaching, you know what I'm saying, they're going to carry on, because it's like, okay, well, who's this organist? You don't know hymns, you don't know this, you don't know that.
Right.
Get it together, you know what I'm saying? And even with all that, it's cool if they're not getting paid. But now you were talking about getting paid, and you don't know your keys, you don't know your hymns, you don't know how to actually flow. And I mean, this is stuff you wouldn't even open your mouth about money back in the day if you couldn't really play.
Right.
But now it's like, look, I play drums and I play a little bit of keys, so I'm gonna.
And like, do you know the song? No. Do you know the song? No. I'm talking about the standard song.
Yeah, standard stuff.
What?
Like, he's able. I only know it in E flat. Like, no, he ain't write the song in E flat.
Okay.
You know it in the real song, in the key.
And I found that's why some musicians specifically ordered a church to. Or not order the church, but ask the church to order a certain organ, the organ that transposes.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Because they can't play in every key. That's crazy.
And I'm like, it's not that serious. Like, if you actually sit down and learn songs, eventually you'll know how to play in every key because somebody's going to write a song in every key. But the issue is they don't learn songs. So it's like, well, I only know songs in a certain amount of keys, which means I only know a certain amount of keys to play. Because these are the songs I know.
The bottom line is invest in your craft, invest in yourself. I mean, I can play in every key. I don't like to play in certain keys. For some reason, I don't like D. I don't like E. I don't like A. I'm starting to like
all the guitar keys.
I'm starting to like B, you know. But I can play in every, and I started to make myself, you know, not manipulate the singer to go up or down.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of stay with their key. Yeah. You know, just kind of like challenge myself to stay with it. I can get through, you know, a song, a service, whatever. But it's just like I don't want to, so I just be being lazy. But the main point of this whole part of the conversation is take the time and study your craft and get comfortable with those keys. I got a friend, Darian Brister. He told me his dad, and I love the way he plays, by the way. His dad told him he couldn't play at church until he learned all his keys. Wow. I was like, well, dang. You know, that was kind of... But he's dynamic at every key. Like, I love the way he plays organ. So, and that's the thing. And that's the other thing I was talking about to someone. Nobody is challenging you to sharpen yourself as a musician. The mothers at your church ain't gonna say, baby, you played that same chord for the past 4 years. Mm-hmm. So it's like some musicians don't have that challenge to go to the next level in their playing. Mm-hmm. You know, that's another thing. And I'm privileged and honored to be able to play at Bethany Baptist for their Women's Day once a year. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something. That thing right there, it's a humbling experience. It's challenging at times, but I thank God for it because it sharpens me to be better. You know, because at my church, you know, I'm the minister of music. Sometimes I'm the MD of the band. I'm leading the song. I'm directing the choir, all while playing the organ. So I'm not going to play every break, right. Every run. You know, the intro is going to be like watered down a little bit. So, you know, I have all of these things to concentrate on. So my playing is all broken. But when I go to Bethany and I play for their Women's Day, it challenges me. Okay, no, you have to play the record. You have to play the intro like it is. And then they'll tell you, no, that was trash. We got to do it again. And that environment, I just love it because it sharpens me to be better. And a lot of musicians don't have that. Like if you really would think about your vocabulary on organ for the past 5 years, do you have anything? Did you change anything? You know, especially with YouTube, we have so much to learn at our fingertips, you know. And if we would actually sit down and sharpen our craft, I believe we would be better. So
yeah, it's definitely less excuses now than when we were coming up, where it was about basically who you sat under, or you know what I mean, or who you seen at a concert or something like that. Versus now, you could pull up any organist you want and pretty much learn like that. So it's like, I think because of that, I have an even lesser tolerance for cats. So it's just like, yo, you don't
Right.
You still transposing like it's 2019. Like,
absolutely.
you